Hey everyone. Oftentimes I get asked, how do you prompt Claygent in a way that gets you answers that are genuinely useful? And so in this video, we're going to go over the four-step prompt that I have that gets us really great results every time. Before we jump into the clay table, that four-step sequence is to one, give Claygent a task to do at just a very high level. Two, you have to give it all of the data that you need to work with. Three, you need to explain to it how you would find the data if you were manually doing the task. And then four, you need to put up guardrails, and we do a little bit of guilting in order to get its attention as well. And so now let's jump into a real live prompt and we'll go through it. Let's take a look at our Claygent prompt here. So what I am trying to do is I'm trying to build an automated copywriting clay table to help us automate copywriting for the customers in Growth Engine X. Maybe we'll make a video about this one day. But our goal here is we want to try to find a case study and as much context about that case study as possible. So remember our steps. We need to give it an overarching task, and we need to give it the data that it's going to work with. Then we need to explain how we're manually going to do it. And then we have to put up guardrails. Now, I don't care about how much money I'm spending on this one because we're not going to do 10,000 of these. We're only going to do, one. Well, we're going to do one every time we onboard a customer. So it's not going to be that often that we do it. Um, so super simple. Go to the website in the input and find information of up to 3 case studies that the company mentions on their website. The website I want you to visit is here. Super basic. And then we just go over how we would manually do this. Hey, the way I would search for the page is I'm looking for anybody who has these keywords here, right? Simple enough. Then this part is the part that is much more interesting. So we'll say the only source that any of these case studies should come from is the website in the input. Because sometimes Claygent might go a little crazy and it'll start finding other websites that mention them as a case study, and that got too crazy. And then we're just, again, saying that we want qualitative and quantitative results. Again, we're putting up those guardrails to make sure we get as much as we want, as we need. Now, here's another really important part of what we're doing here. See how I say if you're not at least 95% sure of the answer you're going to give, just output the word purple instead, as I need the answers to be accurate. So the reason we're doing this here is because if it goes to the website and it can't find a case study because it doesn't exist, or it is a little bit confused, I would rather it just not pull up a case study than to start making things up. So that's why we put in this context here, because if you just say, hey, don't say anything if you can't find a case study, it's still going to say something. It's AI. Its whole purpose is to say something. So when we put this here, we're like, hey, if you give up, just output purple and you're going to be good to go. Then sometimes it was finding the case study page, but it was saying, oh, I'm not 95% sure. So I basically simplified it and it said, hey, if they mention this, it's a good indicator that you found what you needed. Name more than just the name of the case study, because sometimes it was just saying the name of the case study. I want to know what the company actually helped with their case study. Oh, and I left this out. Oh, no, I didn't. Here's the other part. So you also want to make sure that it thinks slowly and thoroughly about your task. So I always like to put into my prompts, please think thoroughly about your process and take your time. And then you want to guilt it a little bit. This actually increases the quality a lot. It is very important that this is accurate and done well. My job is on the line that this is done correctly. A little bit of guilt goes a long way when you're talking to AI. And then if you do this with 3.5, it'll work, but it won't be as accurate. So we were using GPT-4 here. And this is a pretty good indicator of exactly how we get this stuff done.